Om Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankaracharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam Gurur-Brahma Gurur-Vishnu Gurur-Devo Maheswaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidyushavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I think really sweating this room unless we do. Okay. In this session, we'll be seeing the text called Goraksha Samhita. Definitely, this text will be very useful for all of you. Sometimes this Goraksha Samhita is known as Goraksha Padhati, some places. But however, there are thousands of verses, but unfortunately, many of them are not available. I came across few hundred verses where a lot of prayogam and other aspects have been discussed. But however, we are going to take only 200 verses. So, which is very popular and is acceptable. And these 200 verses talks about sadhana, especially that we have seen in Yoga Chudamani Upanishad. And before getting into this Samhita text, I would like to highlight few points. The acharam means behavior. Achar means not pickle, okay? Don't acharam, okay? So acharam means conduct. Acharam means in a given situation, what you are supposed to do. Acharam is always backed up by vicharam. So vicharam means thinking. You do analysis. How do you do the vicharam? Based on your viveka. Unless you have discriminative power, your vicharam, your thinking process will not be aligned. In fact, it will be aligned with your raga and dvesha. In short, it will be aligned with my insecurity. Now, if the vicharam is backed up by viveka, definitely insecurity cannot take over me in any given situation. And interestingly, based on the era, the source of vicharam differs. That one has to be very careful and clear. So there is a beautiful verse in Kularnava Tantra. Krute Sutiyukta Achara Tretayam स्मृति संभवः द्वापरे तु पुराणोक्तः कलौ आगम सन्मतः. Beautiful verse really to understand the source of vichara. Krute Sruti Yukta Acharah. In Kruta Yuga, in Satya Yuga, the Acharam was based on, backed up by Shruti, by Veda. That means people used to follow Veda very clearly, carefully, without violating, without any violation. Whereas Tretayam Smriti Sambhava. So in Treta era, what happens? So in Treta era, it is backed up by Smriti. So Smriti Granthas takes over in Treta era. Whereas Dwaparetu Puranoktam. In Dwapara era, it was being supported by Puranas. Whereas here, Kalau, in Kali Yuga, in this era, Agama Sanmataha. It is supported by or in keeping with, in accordance with Agama Shastra. So now question may arise. So what do you mean by this word Agama? Because this text demands a lot, okay? So technical points you will be able to understand. So I was going through a lot of things. Actually, Agama, if you look at Nirukti Shastra, if you look at especially dictionary, you will have different meanings. But Vachaspati Mishra gives a beautiful, explanation on Agama. Because I hope you people are now more qualified, so I can give some technical points, okay? So he highlights in Tattva Vaisaradi, there is a text. So here where he highlights, Agachanti Buddhim Arohanti Yasmad Abhyudaya Nisrayasya Upayaha Sa Agamaha Iti. So that means, so that is called Agamaha Shastra, where your buddhi does arohanam. So your thinking process keeps growing. Okay? So that is arohana. Arohanti. This is what he uses very nicely. Buddhim arohanti. So what sort of buddhim starts proceeding, improving, growing? He says beautifully two types. That abhyudaya nisreyasah. So both bhukti and mukti. So the upaya, the means, that is related to bhukti, related to comfort, also related to mukti. So in short, Agama Shastra makes a person to think, to achieve both bhukti and mukti. So if a person is interested in comforts, Agama Shastra helps. There are means, there are methods. Also, if the person wants to know, I want Nisriyas, I want Mukti, I want Moksha, don't worry, for that also this is there. And when this Bhukti, Mukti, both are there, so we say very carefully that put all these Agama Shastra, they are divided into three categories. So what are they? One is called Vaishnava Agama. Second one, Saiva Agama. So that means what? That Agama Shastra related to Vishnu and Vaishnavas, the devotee of Vishnu. Second one would be Shaiva Agama. So that means the Agama Shastra that is related to devotee of Lord Shiva. And the third one would be Shakta Agama. So related to Shakti Upasakas. So that means all the agamas are put together. We divide into three categories. One is for the group of people, they are called Vishnu Upasakaha, they are called Vaishnava. Second category would be Shiva Upasakaha, Saivaha iti. And third one, Shakti Upasakaha, they are called Saktaha iti. So then when these people are do follow also this Agama Shastra, so they are in different places, they do combine with mantra, yantra, and mudra called in the form of nyasham. Because without bringing all these three together, the result will not be that much good. Now, here he says, when this yantra, mantra, and nyasham to be combined, that too carefully. That's why the role of the teacher becomes important. So Guru Pradhanyam comes because of this reason, nothing else. Because in Shruti era, you can escape. In Smriti era, you understand, Shruti era means called Satya era, Satya Yuga. Smriti era means Treta era. So in Smriti era, you can escape. In Purana era means Dwapara era, somehow you can escape. Whereas in Kali era, without the help of the teacher, Guru, it is not that easy to know. Because here, both, not both, all three together, mantra, yantra, and nyasam is or are involved. So that's why we say very carefully that sometimes this tantra sabda, the word tantra, is nothing but these three together: mantra, yantra, and nyasha. Also, some people do say that tantra word synonymous is called samhita. Especially in different types of, we have samhita. And really, if we try to look at, there are many samhitas do talk differently. Now, if we try to understand this, all this samhita, among them, Goraksha Samhita is one of the important samhita. And how this Goraksha Samhita, first thing is we need to understand that all of us, we know, especially in India, that it is Gorakhnath, popularly known as Gorakhnath, especially after this Yogi Adityanath Ji Maharaj became Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, because he is from Gorakhnath feet. So he is the chief of that place. So all of us, we know Gorakhnath, but we are using here Goraksha. So are they same or different? Remember, the right word would be Goraksha, not Gorakha. Unfortunately, colloquially, instead of Gorakshanath, it became Gorakhnath. And here in this word Gorakshanath, we have a lot of points to discuss in this aspect. Also, that here in Gorakshanath Sampradaya, Adinath is Adi Guru. So Adinath is none other than Lord Shiva. So they do accept that Lord Shiva is what? That they are first Guru. But here Natha Sampradaya is a little bit different, very interesting point to understand, because some people, those who accept Lord Shiva, Adi Guru, they become Shakta, they become Saiva. And those who look at Shakti, they become Shakta. Whereas Natha Sampradaya, because when you look at whether Lord Shiva or Shakti, then finally you become Shaguna Brahma Upasak. So when you become Shaguna Brahma Upasaka, definitely you will be intolerant of Nirguna Brahma. Means you will not be able to accommodate Nirguna Brahma. One has to be very careful. That is how many people fight between Dvaitism and Advaitism. Okay? Why there is constant fight? Not for anything. Like yesterday, we had Ramanavami. So in Ramanavami, a given sampradaya has got more saying than any other sampradaya, any other group. Even though we all accept. That's why that Tilakam has to be Ramanandi Tilakam. While making the mark also, there are a lot of points to be understood. So in short, what I am trying to highlight, that we say Go Raksha. Go means here Indriya. So that means Ksha here is Ksha, the one who is able to master over Indriyas is called Goraksha. Some places also is being highlighted that Go Maya Sabdait, Ksha where the destruction. In different occasion, this Goraksha word being discussed differently. However, the Natha Sabda also has its own point to explain. What is being highlighted? Natha is that neither Saguna Brahma Upasaka nor Nirguna Brahma Upasaka. So that means they don't come under any strict category. They are as comfortable as, because when you hold on to Nirguna Brahma, still you are holding on to Dvaita. It is like if you say, the story goes very nicely. I can share this point. So once a great sadhu was passing by, walking. And as he was traveling, In one village, some villagers, especially youngsters, caught him thinking that he's a thief, because in that village, lot of stealing were going on. So seeing that unknown person, they caught him and gave him left, right. And he was tied down. He did not open any mouth. He did not say that, look, I am not a thief. I have not stolen. Nothing said. He was being beaten up. And as few hours passed away, after some time, one elderly person came and saw that these youngsters have caught hold of none other than a great sadhu. He was shocked. He said, how did it happen? And of course, he shouted at all these youngsters with great respect, folding both the hands, and went to this great sadhu, great Mahatma. Please forgive us. These children do not know you. They did all these things. But I am shocked and surprised. Why didn't you tell that, look, I am so and so. I didn't steal. That time the sadhu smiled and said, every thief, when they are caught, they also say, I did not steal. I have not stolen. And more you say that I have not stolen, more you will get beaten up. So it is better to keep quiet and get beaten up whatever they want, rather fighting with them. That's why I did not open. Here, if you look at, if you say there is no God exist, in fact, anything and everything is nothing but the Brahman. Now, when a person hold on to this concept, they are also duality. That's why we say very carefully, Gyata, Jnanam, and Gayam. This triputi. Gyata, the knower, Jnanam, the knowledge, and the object of knowledge has to be merged, has to be one and same. It is like me sleeping, me sleeping, me sleeping. So that means what? The sleep, sleeper, and the process of sleeping has to be one and same. If these three are not combined together, can you say that you are, sorry, can anyone, confirm that sleeping? That's why if you say, I am sleeping, really, you are not sleeping either. You are lying down. Can you see this point? If you say you are sleeping, are you sleeping? You are lying down. So here, Natha Sampradaya is something unique, that they do not exhibit anything. That's why in Natha Sampradaya, very nice point to observe, when they meet any senior sadhus, when they go to any samadhi pit, when they meet their guru bhais also, they have a unique way of prostration with mudras. It's an amazing thing to observe. Because of what? As I said, here mantra, yantra, and nyasa are included. So here, this Goraksha Samhita, interestingly, Gorakhnath, his guru was Matsyendranath. And of course, Matsyendranath has written many, many texts, especially starting with Matsyendra Samhita. These are the points to be understood very carefully. And we very oftenly quote Kularnava Tantra. In fact, Kularnava and Kaularnava both are written by Matsyendranath. And also Mahakaularnava, Shavara Chintamani, Kulanandaha, Akula Vidatantram, Kaulavali Nirnaya, Kaulagyana Nirnaya. All these things are famous text written by Matsyendranath. In fact, the story goes regarding Matsyendranath a lot. And interestingly, Matsyendranath was brought back again to the sense by Gorakhnath. Especially this eastern part of India, Odisha, West Bengal, and Bihar, because this is the border, UP border, all this area where Gorakhnath was very predominant. This Ektara started coming. So this Ektara, one type of music, very nicely, not that other one. You know, what they do is, with coconut shell and taking the help of a mainly either frog or something, that skin they put it, and with that they make this, in Odia we call as kendera. That's very nicely. So that became very popular, and this is very popular in this eastern part of India. And that was the contribution, because this Gorakhnath's teaching was so predominant in villages, especially in Odisha, that I have seen in my childhood. A common person, ordinary person, will move around singing the intrinsic, this tricks and techniques, which is very difficult to understand. So that means it was available, even if this sort of knowledge was available for common people, but unfortunately, because of lack of guru, nobody could understand. And in short, this Goraksha, he contributed a lot, especially re-establishing this Tantra Shastra in many ways. And he has written many texts, starting with Goraksha Gita, Goraksha Bodha, Goraksha Diksha, Goraksha Ganesha Goshti, Goraksha, like that. If I go a lot, in fact, Hatha Samhita also he has written, Goraksha Padhati, Goraksha Sabdi, Goraksha Upanishad. I was going through a list that it goes on and on. But unfortunately, many of them are not available. So this Goraksha Samhita, what we call as, it was mainly somehow it was in Nepal King's Library, and from that it was being printed, and slowly different publishers taking up, and that is how this Goraksha Samhita is available. And without going through all details, we are going to take from tomorrow onwards, if you want to see that, we'll be seeing this Goraksha Samhita carefully. In fact, I came across one point here. Gakaro Ganasayuktaha Rakaro Rupalakshana Shakarena Akshayam Brahma Sri Goraksha Namastute. So Goraksha means Gakara, that which is endowed with gunas. Rakara Rupalakshana Kshakarena Akshayam Brahma. So that is what is called Goraksha, my salutation. That's why Ga also is called as Indriyani. So Indriyani Rakshatiti Goraksha, the one who protects Indriyas. But unfortunately, later on they try to convert Go also called Gavah iti. So that means they will say that no, that who protects the cows also is called Goraksha iti. And however, with this background, I think we should start our Goraksha Samhita tomorrow onwards. Please close your eyes. Om Punnamadah Punnamidam Punnat Punnamudachyate Punnasya Punnamadhaya Punnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, all of you.